So I want to just give a few pieces of advice here. The first is that if you're going to be an investor, you have to know your targets. And what I mean by that is that most people are professional lookers. They are not investors. As a beginner in this market, you've got some money, you want to invest in real estate. One of the pieces of advice that you're going to hear most often is just start looking at a bunch of deals. Educate yourself. And to an extent, that's true. I mean, you can learn a lot about investments by analyzing investment deals. But if you've got cash and you're looking around and hoping that the right deal is going to present itself, the question is, what's the right deal for you? I mean, I can tell you that the majority, probably 8 out of 10 people that call me and talk to me about real estate investments and label themselves as investors, the vast majority of them cannot define the characteristics of a deal that would cause them to say, yes, I will buy that, or no, that's not a good enough deal for me because this particular investment doesn't meet or exceed my return on investment standards. So that's number one, is you got to know what your required return on investment is. If you don't know that number, then you're missing a vital piece of the equation here. The other major challenge is this. If you don't know what separates a good deal from a great deal based on realistic market dynamics, by the time you figure out something's a great deal and you run your analysis, guess what? That deal is gone, more than likely, unless you get really lucky. And again, it depends on how you find the deal. But there are too many other professional investors in this market right now for you to go to sleep on a deal, a great deal for that matter. So as an investor, that's actually what you want if you think about it, the deal that other investors are fighting over, because that's validation to you that deal is a good deal. You're out there selecting good deals. If you get outbid, good for you. You were in the right place at the right time. You just, you were either a little too slow or your standards were a little too high. And that's okay too. Don't compromise your standards. The challenge is to move quickly on an uncontested deal as you would on a deal that already has 5 offers from investors on it. So another piece of advice that I would give is just don't think too small. And again, we're talking about investment properties here. And if you have questions for me about investing in real estate and you want to call into this program, the number here in the studio is 843-556-1250, 843-556-1250. But the second piece of advice I want to give is don't think too small. Most people start off with, little $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 houses as a way to kind of mitigate their risk. And so if you, instead of, taking $100,000 and investing in, say, a duplex or something like that, you buy 3 $30,000 to $35,000 houses. Well, a tenant trashes the place, and it's going to cost you, a few $1,000 potentially to fix it up. So if you have a $60,000 property and it costs you $3,000 to fix it up, here's the math on that. That's 5% of that home's value. If the value of your property went up 5% that year, you just spent all your appreciation on repairs. The point is, repairs, construction materials, major systems in the home, they're expensive. They're a lot more expensive in homes worth less money. And so I'm hoping that I'm explaining why, which is why it makes sense to invest in a more expensive property rather than a few homes worth the same amount of money. I mean, do you want one roof you have to worry about, or do you want 3? You want one HVAC system you have to worry about, or do you want 3? You want one set of renters to worry about, or do you want 3? You see my point? A lot of these less expensive homes, at least in this market, in my opinion, aren't worth it. They wouldn't be worth it to me. But I am not everybody. I have my own set of criteria, and I know where I want to be with my investments. And I know investors, by the way. I have good friends that started off in that area, built a massive portfolio, turned that portfolio over, rolled that into different types of properties, and they are killing it right now. So it's just going to be a matter of how invested are you into your investment property. That became his full-time job. This one person I'm talking about was the landlord, he was the handyman, he was the property, he was everything for his few $30,000 properties that he was getting, $800, $900 a month in rent for, which is an awesome return until you also factor in how much time it takes to manage those types of properties. Third tip that I'm going to tell you before we take a break is that you do not need to buy a place for cash. Borrowing money right now is inexpensive. You actually don't need any cash at all. So I have a free ebook that I put together. I'm more than happy to send it to you guys. The ebook is The Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Real Estate Investing. It's 53 pages, packed full of awesome info. Everything from choosing where you should be investing and the strategies you should be using, your business plan, how to find deals, how to finance them, how to market them, and then probably the biggest piece of the puzzle that most people forget about is your exit strategy. What are you going to do to get out of that? You got to begin with the end in mind, right? So if you'd like some information on that, you want to get a copy of that report, then text the word report to 843-400-8009. Text the word report to 843-400-8009, and I'll send that right over to you.
Join us for another edition of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show next Saturday morning at 9 and Sunday morning at 10. Contact Brian Beatty online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or call him at 843-345-1273. 843-345-1273.